This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. Hello and welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB. Hey, in the studio tonight, I got with me there Walter. Walter, stick your hand over here and wave at anybody. There you go. I got Walter with me, NR3E.
Very good.
I got it.
Yeah, you did.
I saw NR4E on a thing the other day. All right, hey, Walter's with me, and out our other cameras out there. Boy, we got Katie Allen on out there. We've got Ruth with us tonight. We've got Dave Kessler with us, and we've got who is it? That's Riley. Riley's with us here. Let me see if I can bring him in here. Well, first, let me just make a couple announcements. Hey, the net went really well tonight. We had about 30 check-ins tonight. It started off kind of poor, not many check-ins. But boy, toward the end, it was just a pile-up. We just people were calling and calling. I think we probably got some new people tonight. So, hey, if you're new to the show tonight, new in the chat room, let us know in the chat room. Tell us you're new and that tonight's your first time to the show. If you're listening on WBCQ, we're on the international shortwave station, WBCQ, on 5130 kilohertz out of Monticello, Maine. And we've had some signal reports from the UK and from Costa Rica. Not sure where we might, that signal might be going to, but hey, if you're out there, send us a signal report to Tom at W5KUB.com. And guess what? We're not on shortwave tonight because I've got to turn it on. I've got to turn it on, so let me turn it on. Walter? Let's turn it on and just make sure, Walter, just minimize everything there. Guys, excuse me just a minute and minimize that. All right, start up Edcast right there.
That one?
Yep, start that one up. All right, and hit connect right there. Okay, we're on shortwave station WBCQ up in Monticello, Maine right now. Sorry about that, guys. Boy, we just got so many things. Can you get everything back? You just got to click at the bottom here. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. My bad. Got a great show tonight. We think you're going to enjoy it. Let me also say, join our Facebook group. We've got getting close to about 7,000 members in our Facebook group that follows the show. And it's a good place just to post ham radio questions, comments to Riley. We get them to Riley. Also, post your shack pictures in there. And Katie or one of us will try to show your shack pictures on one of the shows down the road. Be sure and tell us who you are and what your equipment is. And, where you're located. We'll try to get that on the show. So let's jump over to our guest out there tonight. And let's just see who all we've got out there. There we go. Boy, I'm going to tell you. Well, hey, Ruth. Hey, can you see me, Ruth? There's Ruth.
Yeah,
there's Riley. There's Riley over. Riley's over there. And we got Katie down there. Dave,
Yay.
How you guys doing? Hey, I heard. Hey, guess what? Tonight, Katie checked in the HF net tonight. I heard her.
Woo-hoo.
She got in there, and Dave checked in. I didn't get all Dave's call first, and I didn't know who he was. And then I recognized his call. So Dave made it into the net tonight, and that was great. Katie, a couple people were asking about you, so you're going to have to start getting on more often. They want to work you.
Well, I came back a couple of times, and the band was just horrendous, and I couldn't hear anybody, and I sat around a little bit, and I thought maybe you guys all went away, but...
Well, we were there. We stayed on there at least till about, I don't know, 6:45 or so. Well, anyway, we had a great time on it tonight. The band, it started opening up here toward the end, and signals were getting much better, and we had some pileups, man. We had pileups, actually. I was beginning to wonder at the first of the net, we had one check-in and nobody else, and I was thinking, okay. But, hey, it turned out pretty good. So, hey, just real quick here, let's just go around the table here. Riley, anything you've been, where you been lately, Riley? You've been traveling, hadn't you?
Well, I've been traveling a little bit. Went to the ARRL board meeting in Hartford, which was really, really great this year. And we've been working a lot on the volunteer monitoring program, which you may have heard about. And if you've got a minute, I'll tell you about that, or we can do this later. I don't know.
Let's do it. Let's do it when we have your segment. That is a big interest of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I just got back from a week at Myrtle Beach, see some friends and enjoy the beach. It's really, really hot and humid down there. I've
Yeah.
forgotten how hot and humid it gets, but we had a good time. So I've been off the radio for a couple of weeks, except for checking into the Carolina Coastal net. I haven't been on for a few weeks, so it was good to get back on.
Okay. Well, Katie, what have you been up to?
Well, good evening, Tom and everybody. Let's see. Well, we've had a lot of volatile weather out here in Wyoming still. It's been hailstorms and thunderstorms and then dry weather, but it's been a little bit crazy, but we finally got the last bit of the pieces that we needed here in the shack for our satellite station. So actually, Dwayne's sitting over there now, tuning around, but we're pretty close to being able to actually maybe making a contact once we figure out what we're really doing. And we took a trip out west to Jackson this weekend, which is only about an 8.5-hour drive out to Wayne Mills and 7NG, and hung out with a bunch of hams for a nice barbecue out there, and beautiful location. Of course, you get to go by the Tetons. And so now we're back and going to do some hammy things around the house this weekend, and looking forward to whatever else probably will come up that we haven't planned on, like any other homeowner.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you in here tonight. Now, Dave, you skipped out on us last week. What happened?
I tried to get in. It's something to do with the new Skype. It like it never did connect or something. I tried it tonight, and it's trying to get me to go to the new version of Skype.
Yep.
I've heard all kinds of horrible things about the new version of Skype. Microsoft is doing its level best to get some money out of Skype, so they're trying to take the free stuff away, I guess.
Well, they're publicizing that September 1st they're going to cut the old one off, so it says it's going to stop working. Now, there's a lot of kickback on that, so we're probably all going to have to convert for the next show in, September?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been... about the last month, I made several videos on it, in fact. MFJ said, well, what do you want? We'll give you something to review. And I says, I've heard a lot about these hex beam antennas. What you got? And they said, well, how about an MFJ 1846? So I said, sure. It's a 6-band hex beam antenna, and I got the thing put up in the backyard. I tried at first to put it up, by guess and by golly, the same way I do on all my other antennas, and I discovered that when you have a 25-pound antenna with a 6-pound rotator and a piece of aluminum mast that's 20 feet long, scheduled 40, you don't do it by guess and by golly. And ended up smacking my wife between her knees with the mast.
Oh, boy.
And then dropping the antenna and breaking one of the spreaders. And so I had to sit back and actually engineer the thing and then go out and measure, draw things. And it was a better time that time. I'll tell a little bit more about it when it's my turn.
Okay.
That's kind of what I've been up to.
All right. Now, let's see. Let's just say hi to one of our guests tonight. We got Ruth in here. Ruth, how are you doing, and where are you, Ruth? Where are you?
Good evening. I'm doing great. So currently I am in Augusta, Georgia. I'm working as a co-op student at Textron Specialized Vehicles here. And I'm in a break before I head back to Kettering University in Michigan to start my junior year of college.
Okay, well, cool. And we're going to get around to you in just a minute, okay? We're going to talk a lot about some exciting things happening with you. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, very good. All right. Hey, guys, I have just a little 1-minute video. I had a guest that came by, and I want to run this video if I can. Here, let's see if I can get this thing running. Here we go. Hey guys, look who stopped by Roundtable Studio tonight. We got Kurt, WA2JSG, all the way up from New Jersey.
That's right.
How you doing, Kurt?
Pretty good. Nice long drive.
Now, you came down here just to see us, right?
Almost.
Almost, but you've had another reason for coming
Well,
down, right?
I come down to see my daughter and granddaughters. They live down in Collierville here.
All right, well, they're kind of my neighbors. I mean, this is a little
it's
small town.
right
so
on the other side of town.
I'm glad you were able to find some time and get by and see
Well,
us.
I appreciate you inviting me.
How long you been here?
A week or so.
A week, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Got to head back to Jersey tomorrow.
Now, it takes you 2 days, right, to drive up there? That's a long
I
ways.
can make it in one day, but I would rather stop halfway. Usually stop in Knoxville and then head the rest of the way up the next day.
Yeah, I'm thinking I had had an uncle that was a ham in New Jersey. And we were always talking about meeting in Dayton. That was about halfway. I mean, it's a 10-hour drive for us to get to Dayton.
It's 10 hours for me to Dayton.
And 10 hours, so that's about midway. So, but you don't go up through that way, right? You must take 40.
I take 81 up through Virginia.
Oh, okay.
And then over to Shenandoah and up into through Washington D.C. and Baltimore and up to Jersey.
That's cool. Well, Kurt, every Tuesday night I see you in here. You're in the chat room. I see you in here.
I try to be.
We appreciate you being a loyal participant and viewer of the show, and you've won a few prizes, I think.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I did. Yep, a couple of prizes.
Yeah. We got the Huntsville Hamfest coming up, and I know you can't make it. You're heading back home, but
that's a little far from me, Huntsville.
You're gonna be tuned in, and maybe you'll win some prizes.
I'll be here. I attend the Memphis Hamfest by way of your show too. Yep.
Hey, so Kurt, you're a CW guy, aren't you?
I like to think so. Yeah.
You like to work CW a lot.
It's mostly straight key CW. With
Yeah.
a couple of clubs. Straight Key Century Club and the NAQCC.
Well, that's cool. I need to start practicing again. I mean, I'm an extra 20 word guy, but that's been 20, 30 years, so.
Well, I'm an advanced code guy.
So I'm getting a little rusty. I can still copy pretty good, and of course I can send, 30 words a minute. But I can't receive 30 words a minute. I can probably do about 13 or 15, per minute, pretty solid right now. All right, well, man, we're glad you stopped by. Thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
In the studio here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Next time I come down, I'll try and stop in and say hello again.
All right, well, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
All right, well, that was Kurt, WA2JSG, one of our friends. We see Kurt all the time. He comes by and visits at Dayton, and when he gets down here, he'll drop by. And I bet you Kurt's in the chat room tonight. Everybody say hi to Kurt. And Kurt, thanks for coming by. All right, well, look, let's move on. Katie, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this very special award here and Ruth. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, Katie, and you guys take it away.
All right. Well, Ham Chicks rule, so we're taking over the show now, Ruth. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, first of all, I would like to introduce you to everybody who is watching either tonight or on YouTube after the fact. Just in case they have been under a rock and don't know who you are, but Ruth Willet is Kilo Mike 4 Lima Alpha Ocean, and she is this year's ARR Hiram Percy Maxim Memorial winner. She also was the RCA award. What the heck did you win with the RCA, the Radio Club of America? There was Young Achiever Award.
Yes.
And last year at Dayton, you were the guest speaker for one of the convention dinners, for the DX dinner, I believe it was.
Yes, in 2017, I spoke at the Southwest Ohio DX Association DX dinner.
Right. So you really haven't been doing anything with ham radio much at all. Well, just kidding. Of course, obviously. Well, I've known Ruth for a couple of few years now. I think we finally got to meet in person at Dayton, and have become friends ever since. And needless to say, I personally am just so thrilled to see that you won this award this year, Ruth, and really just congratulations. It's very well deserved, and you've been working very hard both for your school career and all the things you do for ham radio, and that's, I think, really what they look at when they're making this selection, to see who is going to be the person to represent Hiram, Percy, Maxim this year, and also get you a little cash out of the deal too. I think you're going to have an event coming up where they're going to officially award you with your plaque. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Right now, the plan is to award the plaque at in Georgia, Saturday, November 3rd, probably like 1 p.m. or so.
Okay, that chopped up just a bit, but just in case anyone missed that, that's November 3rd at the Stone Mountain Hamfest down in Georgia. So I know that your mom, Sharon, Kilo Mike 4 Lima Alpha Ocean is a ham. Is there anybody else in the family that's a ham?
Right now, it's just my mom and I. My mom's KM4 TVU. It's the two of us right now.
I just read your call sign. I'm such a goofball. Sorry about that. Sorry, Sharon. All right. So so you and your mom have been doing you guys did some really cool things together with ham radio over the past couple of years. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of fun together. So I got into the hobby first. I actually wanted to learn Morse code. That's what got me into ham radio. I started being interested in Morse code when I was studying World War II in high school. And I was like, this looks cool. I want to learn it. And then I started talking with a friend, and he told me that if I got my license, my ham radio license, I could operate on the air. So I got my license. I fell in love with it. We got involved with a great club, the Gwinnett Amateur Radio Society in Georgia, and got involved. My first mentor, Dave, W4DTR, really took the time to get to know me and get me into the hobby. And I just started having a ton of fun, and my mom saw how much I was enjoying it and how much I was learning, so she decided she wanted to go ahead and get her license as well. So she actually got her license on Mother's Day back in 2016. She got her tech license, and I was actually testing the same day, and I passed my extra the same day she passed her technician, which was a lot of fun. So throughout 2016, we've had a lot of fun. We chased a lot of national parks on the air. We went to Saba as I was a member of the Youth DX Adventure down there in Saba. We've kept on doing stuff together. We do ham radio when we're traveling back and forth to school. We have a lot of fun.
No, I know one of the big activities that you were very involved with and active was National Parks on the Air. And I think a lot of people that participated in that would definitely recognize your call sign. You and Emily you teamed up quite a bit. And I'm afraid, what's Emily's call sign? I'm losing it off the top of my brain.
Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Victor Echo.
Thank you. Yeah. The two of you were out and about quite a lot of times. Did you end up at parks by accident together, or had you planned some of those times to hang out and operate?
So the trip with Emily was planned. So we were going up to visit my mom's parents in Maryland, and I realized we were, closer to Emily than we were in Georgia. So I texted her, and we decided to meet up and do a whole day-long activation. We did, I think it was Piscataway Park, and then we did Greenbelt Park, and then we decided to go downtown Washington, D.C. and walk around all the monuments and work each other on HTs. So yeah, we've had a lot of fun. We planned most of the activations we met up, but we had fun.
That's great. So now what would be your main passion with ham radio, would you say, at the moment?
I think my main passion right now is a split between Morse code and amateur radio satellites. So I guess start off with the HF, the Morse code. It's kept me in the hobby. I absolutely love it. It's so challenging and good for me. I recently joined CW Ops, which is very exciting to get membership into that club. Do a lot of the CWTs. It's a lot of fun to get to do. And then the really big thing I've been doing quite a bit is amateur radio satellites. So Sean, KX9X, really motivated me to get into satellites. I'd always been wanting to do it, and he's been a great mentor for different types of gear I want to get. But I've been doing a lot of amateur radio satellites. It's been good because I'm a college student, so I don't have that much time. I don't have an AHS station set up at school. So satellites are quick and easy. I have a little bag with my HTs and my Arrow antenna, and I can just go out and do a pass. So I love it. It's a great group of people, great group of guys and gals to work on satellites, and I've had a ton of fun both chasing grids from like 4 different locations and roving to grids and putting them on the air and working as many people as I can. So it's been really cool. One of the most exciting things recently with satellites was I made my first transatlantic QSO on satellites. So all of our satellites are in low Earth orbit, the ones that are active right now. So if you want to talk across the Atlantic, especially on the FM satellites, you got to be pretty low. So I was at the Outer Banks in early July, and I actually managed to work Mike India 6 Golf Tango Yankee in Northern Ireland. It was totally unplanned. I heard him on and I called him, and my mom can attest, I was jumping up and down and grinning from ear to ear for like the rest of the day. It was so much fun. So
Yeah,
that's my
I
two
can
main
attest to it
passions.
too, because I got the text message and the pictures and everything else.
Yes.
That was super cool and fun. And, one of the other things, like particularly being able to being a college student, one of the things that I've noticed, the benefit of social media when it's doing good things is that your university, Kettering University, has a pretty active Twitter account. And they've actually featured you in quite a few things that you've been doing with getting your amateur radio club up and running and your satellite operations. And it's been really nice to see that they are actually helping to promote ham radio. And then, of course, you as a ham radio operator, too. And did that happen by accident, or did you kind of instigate it by stopping in their office one day and say, hey, I just wanted to tell you about this stuff?
Yeah, so it sort of happened by accident. Let's see. So I believe that, I think it was right around where after I got the RCA Young Achiever Award. So I think.
That sounds about the right time.
It was either, they've done a couple different articles on me. So there's two different ones. One that they found out I was trying to get the club started. So I got an email from the communications department, and they're like, hey, we'd like to interview you about, we heard you're active in amateur radio and you're trying to get the club restarted. So we'd like to interview you about what you're doing in the hobby, what is the hobby, and about the amateur radio club that you're getting restarted at Kettering. And it's just kind of gone from there. They've reached out to me when they've seen stuff like the RCA Young Achiever Award, and they've been very excited to promote amateur radio on campus.
That's great. Well, obviously, I think a lot of people know there's been a lot of effort with the collegiate ham radio programs, and at Dayton Hamvention, there's been a booth with very active clubs. So there's a lot of other ham clubs around the country that have been doing things to support each other. So hopefully, now Kettering can get into that mix of things. And it really, what's nice, and I'm seeing it in the chat room, is people are really excited to see your energy and excitement over all the things that you're doing. And that's what makes people get excited and want to participate. If you're, wandering around and it looks boring, I mean, who wants to join in? But you can see that you have a passion for it, you're having fun with it, and that's what's really exciting. And I think, particularly with this award that you've now received with the Hiram Percy Maxim, it's, it's a combination of excellence with your ham radio activities, but also what you're doing in the community. So it's really showing that you've had some success with the programs and activities that you've been participating in, but you're also been doing things in your community. And it's really kind of it shows that you can be well-rounded and do all of these things. And I mean, you have a double major right now, don't you?
Yes, that is correct. I'm doing a double major in engineering physics and mechanical engineering.
Exactly.
Breathe. Wow.
Oh man! So your program it's you go to school up in Michigan part of the time, and then you're down in your co-op part of the time.
Yes. So Kettering is a very unique program. I absolutely love it. So basically, we're essentially like a quarter schedule. So we are at school. We have an entire academic semester in 11 weeks. And then we rotate, and we get to go work for an engineering company as co-op students, and we get that practical hands-on experience. So we do that twice every year. So for me, I'm in college from October through December. I work at my co-op job from January to March. I'm at school again from April through June, and then I'm at co-op again like I am now from July through September. So I'm going basically year-round, but it's such a good experience where I'm getting to learn in classes and then apply it hands-on at my job. And I really enjoy my work at Textron Specialized Vehicles. They've rotated me with different engineering and physics-related groups, so I can really see what the different groups do and what I'm good at. I'm learning so much the more I do. And it's nice because it gives me time to, in the evenings to like plan stuff for what I want to do with the amateur radio club, which I'm currently planning, what we're going to do next term for the club.
That's so cool. Now, where you are in Georgia, are you anywhere near your home clubs at all?
I'm pretty close. So I'm currently in Augusta, Georgia, which is about from my very first club, which is Radio City, and also the North Fulton Amateur Radio League. But it's been so good because I'm only 2 hours from them, but I'm really connected with the ham radio community wherever I am, because there's a really great club here in Augusta, the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County. It's got some great people. I've gotten to be really good friends with Samantha, KM4NSF. She's also a college student. She's great fun. We have a lot of fun doing stuff together. And the club up in Michigan, the Genesee County Radio Club, has been very supportive of me and Kettering University getting the club restarted. So it's, I'm pretty close to my first clubs, and they're very special to me. And it's a lot of fun because wherever I am, I'm connected with the ham radio community.
Well, most of us, we've all adopted you as our own. So it's, you have a lot of surrogate aunts and uncles out here in the ham radio world. That's for sure.
I sure do.
And I'm friends with Dave W4DTR also down there at the Gars Club in Georgia. And whenever we get to see each other at Hamvention like this year, we usually, we get our initial hellos together, but then we just gush about you. So it's kind of fun to just, have that in common with other ham friends too of, we are all always so happy to see some younger hams that are energized and enthusiastic. And again, you really have done so well for the ham radio community. And obviously, I think it's just going to help propel you forward in your career in the future. And really, really so proud of you and so excited that you could win this award. And I think it's just another first for many more to come. And just really am so excited for you. And I don't know if there's anybody in the chat room who is typing questions that would like to ask anything, or if we have anything else we wanted to talk about.
There have been so many comments about this segment that we would need to do 3 more shows just to cover them. Wow, this is amazing.
Well, super.
Wow.
Well, I guess then at this point we'll wrap this part up so we can let Riley tell us about all the cool stuff that's going on that he can tell us about. And Ruth, we really appreciate you joining us tonight. And you're more than welcome to hang out here if you would like to, or if you've got stuff to do, you can disappear as well or hang out in the chat room. But thank you again so much for being here with us tonight. And again, congratulations on winning the Hiram Percy Maxim Award.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Super. All right, we'll have you back again sometime.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
What a amazing ham radio operator there.
She is.
Gee.
She's amazing, a ham radio operator, amazing young woman, and just
Yeah.
really, she's one of those people that when you look at the late teens and wonder what's going to happen in the future of our world, well, if there's a lot more like her, we're in very good hands. That's how I feel.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Man, she blew the doors off this tonight, man.
I know.
All right. I tell you what, let's do. Let's jump over and let's see if we can wake Riley up. Now, he's not sleeping. I've been watching him here. He's been awake the whole time. Riley, welcome. How you doing, man?
Just fine. I'm very impressed by Ruth, and I've read her credentials, and it's absolutely amazing, and it does give me some hope for the future. Congratulations, Ruth. We're proud to have you. I don't have a whole lot for tonight. I would urge the listeners to go to the League news site and look at the July 31st on the volunteer monitoring program. A couple of years ago, the FCC asked the league and invited the league to join in more closely with them on enforcement issues if we would revamp the OO program, known as the Official Observer Program. Most unusual invitation. Usually you don't get invitations from agencies to participate in things like that. Usually agencies are looking for things they don't have to do. But they saw an opportunity in this because the OO program had worked pretty well over the years, and there were considerable closings of field offices around the country. So they put the hint out that maybe we'd want to join that and revamp the OO program, but their conditions were that we totally change the training of official observers, rebrand it, and have regular training and participation with the FCC and so forth. And this July 31st article explains that. And the OO program has been a very good program, and we hope that all of the official observers will apply for this to get into this new program. And read the news story with an open mind, and I think it will work very well. But it took a couple of years of committee work, as committee work often takes. You know, I've heard that a camel was a horse designed by a committee, but it took a long time to get all this agreement worked out with the FCC, and it's awaiting signature by the FCC's General Counsel office.
So hey Riley, how is this new program and also the OO, just recently the OO program, how well has that been accepted by the modern hams out there? You know, the hams in the last 10 years or so.
Well,
does it have any bite to it? Does the OO thing have any bite to it, or is it basically something people snug off?
The OO is very frustrated because they've seen in good cases over the years. And in fact, when we started the enforcement program in 1999, the DC office told me there were quite a few cases down there that had been sent in by the OOs. And that was an understatement. I went down there and it took a van to bring back 12 boxes of these cases. And they were very good cases, and we started the enforcement program with them. But in recent years, the OOs have been very frustrated because of the perceived lack of action by the FCC. And I could go into that for hours and hours, but I won't do that on this show. There were some good reasons for the lack of action. One chairman that we had cut back the FCC engineers significantly, or drastically, I should say. And then other issues have come up in the last 10 years. You know, we didn't used to have universal service fund fraud issues. We didn't used to have internet issues and things like that. And if you ever look at the FCC Daily Digest, which I would encourage you to do, you can even be a subscriber, you'll see the massive numbers of things that the FCC is engaged in, besides just pure and simple radio communications. So short answer to your question, the official observers were frustrated, but I think this is going to be a chance to renew it, and I hope all of them, if they're interested, will apply for this new program. And it's going to take 3 or 4 months for it to shake out. But the FCC has promised that if we create a good program and have good training, then they will use the information sent in by the volunteer monitor as a basis for first instance enforcement action. In other words, they'll take our word for what's going on out there.
That's great. And you know, Riley, I'm going to go back to last century. 1964, I was 16 years old, a novice. You know, back then we operated on crystals. That's how we set our frequency. Yeah. And I got a letter from an official observer. Man, I was a whopping, I don't know how many hundred cycles I was out of novice band, but man, I got that letter and I took it seriously, man. I think I had to fill out it in triplicate and send back to them on why it would never happen again. I just hope that people take these people seriously today.
Well, that might have been from the FCC if you had to respond, but the problem with today's society is far too many people that get an OO notice think about, well, what right do they have to tell me I'm out of band? I think I'll sue them. You know, that's the attitude today. Yeah. In the 60s and early 70s, when you got a notice, you appreciated it because it was much better to get an official observer notice than a letter from the Federal Communications Commission. But society today is boisterous, it's rude, it's ungrateful, and they just society today just assumes an insult or assumes that somebody's trying to cheat them. So it isn't received as well as it used to be. But these official observers, soon to become volunteer monitors, spend a lot of time monitoring the frequencies when they could be just operating and enjoying it. And their goal is to give you a notice first before the FCC finds out what you're doing. And they should be appreciated, but today's society just doesn't quite work that way, and maybe that'll change. Maybe that's a pendulum. But we're just a different society today. But I think this will work, and we wanted to totally rebrand it. And since we already had the volunteer examiner program and the volunteer counsel program, we thought that the best name for it was a volunteer monitor program.
What are the requirements for a person, to get into this? I mean, how do they volunteer? Are they selected certain ways? How's it work?
Well, the league will select them based on applications that they file, and the applications are being drafted now. So you'll just have to watch the league website to see that. But it's going to be a pretty fast process, and you have to be willing to undergo a training program once or twice a year. That may be by PowerPoint, but we hope we won't have to torture too many people with PowerPoint. We hope we can do better than that. Sometimes when you say you have to watch a PowerPoint presentation, people run in the other direction. But all I can say right now is to stay tuned and watch the league news pages as this develops. But it's going to move fast, and we're hearing from some of the official observers that are really interested in getting into the new program. There are about 700 official observers, but actually I think only about 2/3, maybe a little less than 2/3 are active. Katie, Pat just walked into the room. This is the danger room, so I don't know what to do.
Tell her to behave herself.
Going out, I think I scared her off.
There's got to be some kind of inside joke. I don't know what this danger room that Katie and Riley are talking about here.
I told Katie about the danger room when we were in Hartford, so it's just a private joke between us. You can't know about it, Tom.
Yeah, well, it's a secret. Okay, I got you.
Maybe we can tell you offline.
But anyway, I would encourage everyone to stay tuned with this, because hopefully it will fill the gap that has been left by the closing of so many FCC field offices, unless and until we can get some of the FCC offices back, and who knows about that. But it could be a very good program, and I think it's going to help us a lot. The second thing I would want to point people to is ARRL news item on August 2nd, which talks about the BOFANG, the citation to BOFANG for these unauthorized RF devices. And in a nutshell, BOFANG was authorized to operate under Part 90 and Part 90 services, and as it turns out, they were able to be easily modified or operated in other services, including restricted federal government frequencies. And so they got cited for that. They've been given so much time to get these things off the market, or face a fine of $19,650 something a day. I would have rounded that to 19,700, but whatever.
Yeah.
That will get anybody's attention. So first thing amateur operators want to know is it still legal to operate those on the amateur bands? And it is, because this is a marketing citation. This is a citation for selling devices, marketing devices outside of your equipment authorization. And these units would also operate outside the power authorization, not just the frequency authorization. But read that article dated August 2nd, and if you have a BOFANG handheld unit, keep operating, and don't worry about that, but just watch the news. They will have to come into compliance. These things were authorized to operate under Part 90, and they were operating in several other services, or could be easily modified to do so.
I don't have one. I was reading somewhere. Does it have a siren button on it where you can make a siren sound? I mean,
I don't know. I haven't seen them, but a lot of people are using. Dave might have one. What are you reaching for, Dave?
I'm reaching for my Baofeng UV5R.
I told you.
Yeah, we've got one, but it's upstairs.
It's the UV5R and the 5RV2 that are the subject of this article.
Yeah, we're going to have to haul Dave off to jail, I think, unless he operates properly there.
There you go.
I've had this thing for a long time.
Does it work?
So I
Yeah.
think some of the things that I've seen floating around was that, people were, like you said, they were mainly concerned that am I now going to be operating illegally? And they just really hadn't read through the story enough that what was behind the citation, it wasn't about the radio, that it was about, like you said, the marketing that was done and inferring that it could be used for other things.
Right, and our equipment doesn't have to go through that authorization process.
Right.
But the deal is, if you make a unit that operates on amateur bands only, you don't have to go through the authorization process. But if you make and sell a unit that operates on the amateur bands and other bands like Part 90 or other frequencies, you have to get that approved by the FCC. And there's some pretty strict standards for that. But it has no impact on the amateur service. You can keep right on operating them.
Right. Great.
Yeah, nobody's
Well, I tell you, I like going to places like Walmart where you see the little handy talkies on the shelf there. I'm going to buy some. They say, 27-mile range on them, man. I mean, I got to get some of those,
both in
man.
outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Also, I wanted to mention one question, and I won't go into detail on this question that I got, but it was a very long email from a fellow that was very active in amateur emergency communications. And there was some conflict with the local emergency communications entity, whether it was county or state, I don't remember, I think it was county. And the entity did not want the participation of amateur operators. And the fact is, if the emergency communications entity or emergency operations center of your jurisdiction doesn't want help from amateur radio communications, amateur radio operators, then we're out of luck, because we only do this on an as needed and as requested basis. We can have any communications, emergency communications that we want to if we're requested, or if you hear of somebody in distress, so forth and so on. But if you cannot participate with your local communications government entity if they don't want you, and that's the long and short of it. Now, in most cases, we have very good cooperative agreements with these entities, but in other cases, there are some conflicts, and they just don't want the participation for one reason or another of amateur operators. And in that case, we are out of luck.
All right. Well, Raleigh, we'll shoot you more questions as they come in, and we're glad you were able to join us tonight.
Okay, and if anybody has any really specific questions on either of these two items, the volunteer monitoring program or the BOFANG, just shoot me an email and I'll answer those offline.
Yeah, or post them in our Facebook group, and I'll forward them to Riley. So, hey, great. And Riley, I wish you were coming down to Huntsville. You ever make it down that way?
No, I don't, but I've heard that's a very, well, I did go many years ago. Yes, about 10 years ago I went down. That's a very good hamfest and always has been. But I won't be down this year, but have fun.
All right. Well, we're going to be down here real soon. And, hey, we're going to webcast it, Riley. And I don't have any BOFANGs to give away as prizes, but, Riley, tune in. You might win something.
Well, you can bring back for me an old HT37 or an SX101 if you see any good.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like. Yeah.
Something with tubes in it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Riley.
Thanks, Riley.
Take the dog for a walk, and it's good seeing everybody.
You
All
too.
right. All right, great.
Dave, and congratulations, Ruth, and Katie, you keep Dwayne straight, and Tom, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
I
we'll
will
see you.
do my best.
We'll see you
See you later.
All right. All right. So, let's see, real quick. Dave has been awful quiet the first part of the show here. And I'm going to be hooking up with Mark Brown in Huntsville here in just a minute. So I need to get Dave in here and find out just real quick what Dave's been working on. You broke the antenna they sent you. So now, had you got 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 of those hex beam antennas now? What are you going to do with all those?
Well, I have just the one hex beam. I also have a cobweb antenna, both by MFJ. The cobweb covers 40 through 10, and the hex beam covers 20 through 6. And when I put the hex beam together, I realized that I had gotten myself into a whole new class of antenna. This thing was huge, and easy to put together and everything, but they suggest you stick a stake in the ground about 2 feet tall and use that as a temporary mast as you construct this thing. And I tried to do it without that and found that I had to put the mast in. A friend of mine who's good with the sledgehammer pounded a piece of pipe in for me. And he was also the one who helped me actually get the antenna up. When I say I was engineering the antenna, I drew the equilateral triangle that I wanted the antenna in the middle. I wanted the guy ropes to be every 60 degrees. I wanted them to be 20 feet long or 20 feet along the ground because it was going to be 20 feet tall. And we put the mast up without the antenna, put all the guys on it, and then just took this guy off here, lay the antenna down, put the actual antenna on, lifted it up, and immediately these two guys down here were where they needed to be. So it was very, very simple at that point to get the antenna up just where we wanted it and get it level and get the mast vertical and things like that. This is the first time I've ever had to deal with the rotator. It is a beam antenna, so it needs to be pointed. MFJ sent along a little high-gain AR500 rotator, which is actually a Channel Master TV antenna rotator, and it works just fine. I had to go find cable for it and come to discover that cable's not cheap. I got some thermostat wire, seven lead thermostat wire from Home Depot for like $90 for 100 feet. So, and I used quite a bit of it to put this thing up, and it works fine. I'm getting used to the idea of a directional antenna. I've always worked omnidirectional antennas, so I could call CQ anytime and pick up a CQ from anybody. And now I've got to point these things. But I'll tell you what, when they're once pointed, you've got serious connection there. It makes a big difference. I've did some A/B testing with a couple people, and it looked like at least an S unit, maybe more, in favor of the beam. So I'm quite impressed with what it can do.
Well, I tell you, I'm fixing to put up a couple rotors for my azimuth elevation, and I needed some more rotor wire, and I ordered me some thermostat wire. It's 8 conductors, what I got. And guess what? I bought a 250-foot roll for about $40 on eBay.
Oh.
So, you need to splice that back together and take it back and turn it in. Man, All right. Well, hey, Dave, we need to move on. I've got a couple announcements here to make, and I've got to get, it's getting late. I've got to get Mark Brown in here. Stick around with us, and I don't know, we're not going to take very long with Mark, and if we have time, there may be more questions or something. We can talk more about the hex beam.
Alrighty.
All right, so everybody, let's see. Hey, just a real quick couple announcements, man. Hey, I got a note here from Hamvention, the new general chairman, and let's see. I've got it here. I can put it on here, I think, for you guys, right? Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I saw a news story about that. The new building is not going to go up.
Let's see. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Anyway, I'll just read it to you guys real quick. And what it is, guys, they're hopefully building the new building, but in Dayton, it says they just want to be transparent to everybody, and they're having kind of not a disagreement, but they can't agree to all the details on building that new building at Hamvention. So it looks like there's not going to be a new building at Hamvention this year, but they did pretty good by putting up that new tent, and it worked out really well. So we'll get more updates on that. Hey, here's another one. I don't know. This is a biggie probably. The Great Lakes HamCon 2.0 has been canceled. The HamCon 2.0 is scheduled to occur in October in Michigan International Speedway. That's always been a big one up here. It's been canceled. They can't come to an agreement with the track people to I guess, to have the hamfest. So I don't know what they're going to do there, but that's 2 ham radio announcements that I wanted to get you guys there. Stand by, everybody, just a minute. We'll be right back with you in 1 second. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with one of these transceivers. The competitive edge you've been looking for is in the IC7851. Raise the bar and hear what others cannot hear with this flagship HF 50 MHz transceiver. It has reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear local oscillator, spectrum scope, dual receivers, and a digital voice recorder. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contesting season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new ICOM 7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has direct RF sampling, 110 dB RMDR, an independent dual receiver, and dual digital select. The IC7300 has changed the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. One of the other things that we like to do as hams is spread the word about ham radio. And, one of the interesting things about even our show is we've got viewers around the world. We've had as many as 50,000 people tune in over a single Dayton Hamvention of over 5 days. And I can go to a Memphis field day and talk to people, and 8 out of 10 have never heard of the show. It's just amazing how so many people have never heard about these ham radio shows. So we're wanting to work with others in trying to, expand, the ham radio reach out there. And in order to do that, one of the things that we've done here is I've been talking with Chris Kudnick, K0, let's see, let me get his call right. So K0STH, I think. Boy, I don't know, man, my brain just stopped on me here. I almost got the show out of order here. But anyway, one of the things I really wanted to do was just talk a minute about 100 watts in a wire right here with Chris. And he's got a great podcast out there. And just like to invite all of our viewers out there, if you haven't heard of 100 watts in a wire, please go over there to it. Check him out on Facebook and join their group. They're strong. They've got about 9,000 people in their Facebook group. And just always something neat happening over there. So please do that. We're going to have Chris on the show next week for a few minutes, probably about 15 or 20 minute segment next week. And we're going to talk about, 100 watts in a wire and how it became about and what they're doing and just talk about some ham radio fun there. So that's 100 watts in a wire with Christian Kudnick, K0STH. And I think you guys will will enjoy it there. So go over and check them out.
I met him at Dayton, and
Yep.
actually, he interviewed me for a show.
Yeah.
And he's got a great series.
Yeah, Chris said that he talked to you up there and enjoyed meeting you and talking to you there. And, Dave, it's just like, you've got a ham radio site out there, and we've got ham radio, and Chris has got ham radio. There's a lot of different ham radio things out there. And the problem is getting the word out to everybody about all the different things that are available to them. It's not that we're in competition with anybody or trying to steal each other's show or anything like that. So let's all give that a look at this week. We'll have Chris on next week here. Let's do this. I've kind of lost my schedule here. Let me see if I can get let me add Mark Brown to the show here. We had a number of guests, and it was difficult to put everybody on at one time. So everybody stand by a second while I'm going to add Mark on here. And I think Mark, there he is. Now Mark's shack ought to really look good because he's been cleaning it the last hour and a half. So let's see what it looks like here. Yeah, let's see. Mark, are you there, Mark? Hey, Mark. How you doing that, Mark? How do you do that, Mark? You're standing on your side.
W5KUB, 59 Tennessee.
Yeah, but something's wrong, man. You got vertical, or you got vertical polarity or horizontal. I don't know which one it is, but let me show you. I mean, we got. Let's. I can't even get you guys both on here. Let's see. Like Houston, we've got a problem here.
There we go.
There he is. He got it fixed.
No, you lost it.
Well, wait a minute. Now wait a minute.
Did I lose it?
No, I didn't know if I was doing that here or if you're doing that, Mark. Boy, I'll tell you this. I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody on the show about this. This is we.
There you go.
I don't know what happened. I think a meteor or something came by and it messed everything up on the show. I don't even know what's supposed to be on the show next. There we go. Hey, Mark, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Tom. How are you?
Oh, well, I don't know, man. The last 4 or 5 minutes, I've just been kind of lost here. But, now is your picture frozen?
No, I've got video.
Yeah, your picture's frozen. All right, well, that's all right. Well, I'm going to send Walter up here to fix it for you. Walter, you can jump on a jet and head up here. Be right there. All right, so hey, Mark, stop your video and restart it, please.
Let me see if I can do that.
Just hit the camera button and...
That's not it. How's that?
No. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to call you back. We're going to get you on here, okay? I'm going to call you back. This is important.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I do.
Sideways.
But you're
again.
sideways again. So are you on a phone or a tablet or something, or why are you sideways?
I'm on a phone.
Why are you sideways? I'm trying to. Do you see what you look like here, Mark?
Yeah, I can see the picture picture within a picture that I'm not right.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right, here's what you do, Mark. Here's what you do, Mark. You take your tablet, pick it up and shake it really good, okay?
Like
You got to pick it. There you go. Now you fixed it. All right.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you fixed it. So
Just like an
I'll
Etch-a-Sketch.
send you the bill. That's the old shake fix. You got to do that. All right. Hey, you know what, man? We're about a week and a half away from heading down to Huntsville. Are you excited as I am?
Probably more so, Tom. I've got, well, Katie's got the bigger grin, but I'm grinning on the inside.
What's she grinning about?
I don't know.
Just,
She looks pretty happy.
other than the whole show just went to heck in a handbasket in the last 5 minutes, I don't know what happened here, man.
Oh, Tom,
I'm
it's
just
been a great
excited.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, anyway, okay. So, hey, man, you know, our favorite place, we're going to come down 2 days early. Boy, we can't wait to get there. We're going to be the first one in the door to sit up on Friday morning. What can you tell us? You expecting a big crowd this year?
Yes, we're expecting a huge crowd. But before we talk about that, let me mention, Tom, I know you're over in West Tennessee, but over here in southern Middle Tennessee, of course, down in Huntsville, it's a short 30-minute drive, but it's hot over here. It's hot and dry. But you come into that Von Braun Center to move in on Friday next week for the Hamfest, we are air conditioned. The whole thing. All 384 flea market tables, indoors and air conditioned. The forums, everything, all in one room.
That's right, man.
There it is.
Look at that. Look
There-
how clean. And that's only looking one direction. I mean, that's a fourth. Man, it is clean and it is cool.
That's roughly 80,000 square feet of floor space from wall to wall to wall.
Man.
And we will fill that up. Like I said, 384 flea market tables, about 54 vendors, lots of clubs. It's going to be great. We're looking forward to hosting the world's friendliest Hamfest.
Well, and it is the world's friendliest here. I've got a few pictures here. Hey, there's the Von Braun Civic Center. You can see the size of this thing. You guys have plenty of expansion room.
Right. The big round thing, of course, that's the arena. But then down to the lower left of the round thing is our South Hall. That's where we will host the Hamfest. Folks will drive in through some roll-up doors. The Huntsville Radio Club volunteers will help them unload. You can even rain or shine, we can unload folks and keep them dry and cool.
Yeah, do you remember the year? Do you remember the year or when you had half the flea market in the round part and the other half in the other? Were you there?
I do remember that. That was a very big problem for our guests and attendees. It was a lot of walking. SMDC, the Space and Missile Defense organization, normally runs a big show right up next to our event. I think that might have been an interference that year.
Yeah.
But SMDC has moved their event to actually last week and this week. They were setting up when we did an eyes on review of the building a couple of days ago. So we don't have that interference issue to deal with anymore. So we're very thankful of that.
That was always a big deal. Hey, I pulled a picture about 15 years ago. Look at this, man. This is the helmet cam, man. This is what our show used to look like, man. That's there in Huntsville, and
Well, that kind of precedes me. I got back in the hobby about 10 years ago, Tom.
Yeah.
Following the 2011 tornado disaster here in North Alabama, and I just got back in for emergency communications, and I remembered enough about my novice exam from my high school days. I studied for the tech exam, but I passed the general exam the same day, and I never imagined having HF phone privileges. So I basically jumped in with both feet. I'm having a ball. I don't know if Ruth is still listening, but AMSAT is going to have a big presence here at the Huntsville Hamfest. And then later in the year, AMSAT will be hosting their general meeting and a national symposium at the Space and Rocket Center. Of course, the big Saturn V you drive by on your way into Huntsville.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big event, and I hope she can make it over here from Georgia. Actually, I hope she can make it over to the Huntsville Hamfest here in a week and a half.
I'd
like to meet her.
We're going to be driving down on Wednesday, and Thursday is kind of a rest day, but I think we'll probably go out to the Space Center Thursday.
That's a great
yeah.
event. I think they've repainted the SR-71 out there, but it's just such a cool place. And there's, the Saturn V that sticks up is a model. It's a mock-up. It's a full-size mock-up of a Saturn V. You can see it for miles, but the crown jewel is really in a new building that was built there in front of it, where we actually house one of 3 unlaunched Saturn V launch vehicles from nose to stern, or whatever you call it. All the different sections are suspended above the ceiling, marble floors. They've got static exhibits of the various rocket engines around the corner of the building, and just describing the incredible amounts of fuel those things use per second, and the I don't know, hundreds of pounds of thrust. It's just really amazing thing. I'm sure you're going to have a good time there, Tom. And you mentioned earlier about your different radio programs not competing, and that's very true. We're going to host you. We've got Ted Randall, Jason from Ham Radio 2.0, Bob Heil's going to be here, Rich Mosenson from CQ Magazine, and probably some others that I may have missed. A lot of media will be here promoting the Huntsville Hamfest. And in addition to that, we're putting Dayton and Orlando representatives in adjacent booths. Again, the organizations don't compete. We learn from each other. We adopt best practices. I've met Jack Gerbs, probably the author of that letter you mentioned just a few minutes ago about the news of the building in Xenia. So Jack won't be here. His daughter's getting married. He would really like to be here for the Huntsville Hamfest. He was here last year, but it just wasn't in the cards. But we're looking forward to hosting both the media and the other Hamvention representatives, and a lot of other vendors and guests.
You've got a lot of the big guys in there. People like Flex, Icon, Yazoo, Kenwood. They all make the show.
Elecraft, Times Microwave, ABR Industries that also I think there's 3 different coax manufacturers we're having, and of course just a lot of really cool.
I've got a vendor list up.
Engineering, N7 ZN keys, really nice Morse code keys, and gifts for hams. The guy does lighted engraved plexiglass signs. I know I'm being remiss by not mentioning all of them. I'm just mentioning the ones that are at the top of my head.
Yeah.
And that whole list, like you say, Tom, you're showing a static of the hamfest.org website. All of the vendors are listed. We'll have maps for everybody. You can't get lost. It's all in one building. We got some forum rooms over in the embassy, but we'll have maps to get you back.
All right, and there's a picture of your website, hamvention.org. Go to it. Check it out.
Negative.
Oh, I'm sorry, hamfest.org. Boy, I tell you, I'm really messing up tonight.
Oh, no, you're doing great, Tom.
Hamfest.org. You guys are so lucky. I always wondered how Hamvention didn't get hamfest.org, and you guys have got it. That just shows, I think, you're number one, man.
I think it was a rocket scientist from way back that said, "Hey, we need to grab this webpage."
Yeah. Hey, there's Jordan. He's your prize man. He's on your prize committee. You guys are giving away a really nice prize on our webcast, an MFJ antenna analyzer. We're going to be giving away thanks to Huntsville Hamfest Prize Committee. We appreciate that. Also, you've got a couple big prizes here. Let me see if I can find them.
Right, on Saturday we have the FTDX 1200 Yaesu, and then on Sunday the IC 7300.
There they are right there. So nice radio on Saturday and another nice one on Sunday. Now, I guess it's possible.
That's the 7200. The IC 7200 on Sunday.
Well, I guess it have you ever had one person win both big prizes, Saturday and Sunday?
Wouldn't that be something? I don't think it's ever happened.
I'm gonna try this year. I really am, but I don't know. It
You
probably
can purchase some extra tickets and increase your odds.
probably won't
But,
happen.
wow.
Yeah, but hey, when I do that, when I buy those extra tickets to increase my odds, if for some reason the odds generally go the other way. Usually, I don't win anything. I'm better off with just a few tickets.
Tom, I visited your shack a couple of months ago on my way to HamCon. You really don't need any more radios.
Oh,
Kind of like
yeah.
my shack. I don't need any more either.
I know.
All hams need more radios.
Well, the thing about it, you never get rid of your old
You
radios.
you have a point.
You never get rid of the old stuff. I parted of a vintage radio here a while back, and I felt like I was losing somebody in the family. I was trying to see if I had any other pictures here real quick. I mean, it's just amazing. We're set up there, and that's when the door opens on Saturday morning, and the rush comes in, and that's kind of cool right there. There's another picture of me and you there.
Must be from
Let's
last year.
see. What do we got here? There's Ray Novak, and there's our little mobile cart. We'll roll around there to all the different vendors, and we'll do some interviews. We'll take the tablet with us, and people can ask questions directly to.
Yeah, Tom.
go
While I
ahead.
was watching your show tonight, I forgot something I wanted to mention to you privately / publicly, is that outside in front of in front of the BBC, we're going to have the ICOM, the big red ICOM van called MCOM 1. So you might want to get out there. Emmett Hohensee
Okay, yeah.
has brought that to Dallas and Dayton and places. He's bringing that also to Huntsville. I know a lot of us don't really venture outside during the hamfest, but I wanted to mention that you might want to get that into your coverage.
We'll try to, and of course Emmett's a good friend of ours, and Emmett donates prizes for our show, and we'll surely try to do that. And Emmett's on here quite often. In fact, we may even have Emmett on the show next week if he can make it, and we'll talk about that again.
Great.
So hey, here's a picture of you. What are you operating here, man? Is that a log or something, or are you operating digital?
My wife, KK4, cute little girl, snapped that photo. KK4CLG. That's not a vanity call. She got it from the FCC.
Yeah.
But there I am. Remember the ARRL Centennial? I led off 40-meter phone for Tennessee's activation. And at that point, I was running about 140 contacts per hour.
Oh, man.
It was one of the fastest rates I've ever run. I was running legal limit on 40 meters and just working contacts as fast as I could. That is one of the most memorable things I've ever done in ham radio. It was a ball.
Oh, cool. All right, well, what can we do to speed time up? I'm ready.
We each morning, my inbox has got all kinds of little questions, issues, not bad things, but things we need to make sure that we cover. Getting the right signs printed, getting the right maps, getting those things to the printer, getting them back. The logistics of putting on something this big. It's still new to me. We're all learning. Of course, we lost Charlie Emerson, our general chairman, a couple of years ago, and I'm learning. I'm growing into the task, and with each day, it's getting a little more comfortable. But there's always the unknown.
Well, all right. Well, thanks for coming on the show again tonight and sharing with us.
Tom, thanks for having me. And like I said, we're all excited for you and everybody else to come to Huntsville. And it's all air conditioned. We're gonna be cool, and we're gonna have fun.
All right. We'll see you. Good night. Good night, Mark.
Thanks, Tom. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Well, hey, that kind of covers all the things that I had on the list to cover tonight. Dave, is Dave still with us there? Dave,
Sure, yeah.
tell us just a little more about, now when you put these antennas up, are you going to keep them up and use them, or are you going to cycle stuff through? How do you do that?
Well, I've done a little bit of both. My official station antenna, the reference for all measurements and so on, is a Butternut HF9B vertical. The other antenna that I have, well, I've got three other antennas standing. One is MFJ receive-only loop that I use with the SDR Uno and the SDR RSP1A. Great antenna. It'll pick up anything. And then I've got the MFJ cobweb is up, and I see that parts of it have come unraveled, so I need to pull that thing down and do something a little bit more permanent. I just sort of wrapped some things together up there and put it up for test, and have found that I like it so much I want to keep it up. My wife calls it the clothesline antenna.
Yep.
And then the inverted umbrella, it looks like the wind has come up under the umbrella and inverted it, and it's just the skeleton. That's the loop. And, you know, I discovered that I couldn't just put it up. I have been using top rail from chain link fences as masts, and that was too small. The antenna wouldn't even accept it. I mean, you couldn't screw it down tight enough to grab hold of that. So I had to go round up a piece of 20-foot long piece of Schedule 40 aluminum pipe with 1.5 inch inner diameter, and that was $60.
Well, you're going to have to find a source to get that stuff free. I don't buy pipe like that. I find people and get it from them. You know, no, I don't steal it. Oh, do you?
Oh boy!
I go down to Walter's house and check out behind his house and see what he's got stashed back here. You know.
Yeah, well, send it my way. You can send it to my P.O. box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ought to fit in there. We miniaturize it. I can expand it once it gets here. But I think this is going to be a permanent addition to my antenna farm. And so far, my wife hasn't objected too much to it. It really does look like an upside-down sprung umbrella frame with nothing on it. And you know, I didn't know how well it would work, and so MFJ made this based on a model from a guy in England. And I went on that guy's website. The poor guy is shortly going to die of cancer. He's in his last stages of terminal 4 illness. But he's done some great work, and he's got it up on his website. And he had a model for Easy NEC, and it was modeled at 20 feet high. So I took that model and made a video with what would happen on each band, and what the front to back ratios were like, and what the elevation angle was, and so on. Given that it's only at 20 feet, on 20 meters, the elevation angle's kind of high, you know, probably 35 degrees or so. But boy, when I put it on the air, wow, I would compare it with the station antenna, and I could get 2 S units of difference on some of those. No, part of that is elevation angle. Okay, right. You know, it just was better for the beam. But I've never had a gain antenna before. I've only been a ham, 43, 44 years.
Well, I don't know what you've been waiting on. Now, you know, I for many years I had tri-bander and, you know, Yagis and beams up, but the last 15 years I've gotten back just to wire antennas. I've got great trees, and I love playing with wire antennas, and I can do about as good with the wire antennas as I can with a beam, actually. Yeah. Plus, boy, in the winter, I would always hear the wind and the coax going clang, 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 clang against the tower, and I'm always thinking it's going to come down. And like they say, if it don't come down, you don't have it high enough. You know.
Yeah, 20 feet isn't real high, but to do any better than that, I'd have to put in a real live tower.
My friend here in Memphis, I gave him 80 feet of tower last year and helped him put it up. He had a hex beam out in the backyard, and the hex beam was about 8 feet off the ground, and that's what he'd been using for a year or so. And he's made contacts with that hex beam on the ground all over the world. But he says it works really nice up on the tower now. We put up about 45 feet of tower.
No, I think that would work great. The other thing I've been looking at today, Redivus, who yet another Chinese manufacturer of radios, sent me a pair of family radio service handhelds to look at. And so my big question was, are they really what they say they are? Are they really family radio service license-free handhelds? And I actually found the FCC certification, and I think they are what they say they are.
Well, and that's the ones I was talking about too. That they have this terrible range on the package. 25 miles, 27 miles. You're right. I mean, I don't even know if you could do that across the water, to tell you the truth. I think you're right. You'd have to be in space to get that.
Yeah, no, I've got to get that video put together tomorrow. I didn't get as much work done today as I should have, but I'll get it out tomorrow. And it's going to focus on what on earth does a ham radio operator want with FRS radios, and some of the things that you can do with them. Like, for example, we provide communications for the Hard Rock 100 Ultra Marathon every July, and we've used these little FRS radios for communications in camp.
Yeah.
Or at one of the aid stations, and then use ham radio for the heavy lifting. And it's nice to be able to give a radio to somebody who doesn't have a license, and 5 minutes worth of training on how to press a push-to-talk button properly, which is not an ingrained skill, by the way, that has to be taught.
Oh, yeah.
Then we have used them there. So I thought, I'll go ahead and do the video on that particular product. So, I mean, it's not as far out as this quadcopter they sent me.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see what Katie's doing real quick. I don't know, Katie, are you falling asleep on us?
No, I've been watching. Dwayne's been working over on the satellite station. We actually heard some people talking, so I think we're actually getting it set up correctly.
Did
we're
you?
both like, woohoo!
I tell you, I worked satellite for a lot. And the easy satellites, the FM birds like AO50 and those, all died on us up there. So then the ones that are up there are much more difficult to work now. Especially, I didn't like working the linear ones, the sideband ones. Now, of course, on the linear birds, you could have 6 or 7 or 8 conversations at the same time going on those, because you just had to find a place. But it's really interesting to watch that signal drift and try to keep it tuned in sideband, and everything. But boy, the FM birds were so easy. I think there's supposed to be a bunch of new FM birds going up this year, and people are still working some of the old FM birds that they used to complain about, but they're the best ones now.
Yeah, well, we're still definitely in the learning phase, and at least we now have equipment so we can listen and, put that rotor to work up there on the roof. And so, just like everything else, listen first before you open up your mouth. So that's the phase we're in right now.
Yeah. Well, Walter and I just put together my azimuth elevation little mount stand, and I got the antennas. I'm waiting on some coax to run them in, but once I hook that back up, I'm going to get back into satellite a little bit. Hey, there was a question in the chat room about the Pocket RX-TX and when we're going to have the guy on. The guy is Dan. I'm going to mess his call up. I shouldn't do this. Y03 GGY, I think. Dan is his name. He's in Romania. And great guy. He and I have been communicating a lot about testing this and checking out certain bugs. And Dan has just released a new version of Pocket RX-TX. And I'm testing it, and we're going to have Dan on the show live from Romania sometime probably after Huntsville. So it'll be about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning over there, but Dan wants to be live where he can take questions. So if you're asking in the chat room about it, it's Dan. He's the developer of Pocket RxTX, and it's a neat little program. And going to Huntsville, I'm going to be taking my remote shack Pocket RxTX with me, and I'll post it on Facebook. Want to work a lot of you guys on HF from the truck using the remote. We're going to try it. All right, I think it's time to bring in Hangout, guys. Let me just bring up Hangout real quick, and I'm not going to stay in here too long. And
I'm going to head out for the night.
I want to thank Dave and Katie for being with us tonight. It's a lot of work being available, every Tuesday night. So thanks a lot, guys, for making your time and being a part of the ham radio experience.
You're welcome. It's a lot of fun. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
All right, so let's see what we can do here. I'm going to see. Let's just bring Walter in here too, man. Walter's been very quiet tonight. He's been working the chat room, and Walter, you can mic up if you want to there. He's been working the chat room, so he's had his mic turned off because sometimes typing makes a lot of noise. So, all right, I'm gonna bring up a Hangout real quick, and let's just see if anybody's in here. We might spend 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see what kind of group we got in Hangout tonight. Hangout is where anybody with a camera can join us, and all you gotta do is click on a link we send. So somebody put the link out there, if you will. Somebody put the link in the chat room. All you gotta do is click on that link, and you will join. You'll join us, and you'll be live on the show. Let's see. Hey, oh man, look, I know who this is.
Hangout is where anybody might spend 5 or 10 minutes to see what kind of group we got at Hangout tonight. All you do is click on
Jordan. Let's see that, Jordan. Jordan, mute your audio on the show, Jordan.
It's off.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I was going to start giving you demerits, but you got it under control real fast. Hey guys, let me meet Jordan. Let's see. Let me meet Jordan. He's the prize committee guy. He's the one that gets all the prizes together, and he's getting us a MFJ antenna analyzer for a prize for our webcast. You got that MFJ yet, Jordan?
I have it in the works. Hopefully, it'll be here a little bit before the hamfest starts.
It's in the works. Well, you guys always come through, so it's not a big issue, You'll always come through. We trust you guys, and man, that's a nice prize. It's one of our really nice prizes here. I got to figure out a way I can win it, but I don't think that's going to ever happen. Let's see who else we got in the chat room tonight. We got the Ooper up there. We got the Ooper up in upper what?
Yep, you got the Ooper already. I'm here.
What's that, Michigan? Yeah, Ooper, Michigan. There we go, Mike. Now, I don't know what to call it.
That's a Yooper. You can look it up in the dictionary.
Oh, I've been calling it Upper or Ooper. Ooper. All right, you Ooper, stand by. What are we going to call Bill? Now, Bill's from... Bill, are you near Boston?
He's from Upper Mass.
What's that?
Are you near Boston?
No, I'm in Burnsville, North Carolina.
No, the other Bill.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, where are you, Bill?
Hey, Bill.
Where are you at?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
He's in northern Mass.
So you're not nowhere near Boston. See, I had a science teacher in school. He was from Boston, and he would, if we got bad, he'd bounce us out on our ear. And he had this CAD system,
Tom, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. You're gonna give me heart attacks.
He had this cod system, and he would pull
you.
You
gotta stop, please.
He would pull your name. He'd pull your name, and if you didn't get it right, he'd give you a half. All right, that's about all I can do, guys. Let me get Walter back in here. I must have lost some audience, man. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to you. Bill, are you from Massachusetts? The other Bill?
Originally, yes. I was born and bred in Boston.
Oh man. Well, look.
Thank you, Cotton. Have a good.
Well, let's talk about us down here. If I said to you, "Jeet yet," do you know what I said?
I think it's called humans.
Jeet yet? Jeet yet? Do you know what I'm saying? Let's see if anybody in the chat room knows. Now we're talking Southern right now, and if I said to you, "Jeet yet," do anybody know what that is?
Oh, did you eat yet?
Yeah, jeet yet. No, Jew. Jeet yet? No, Jew.
I'll actually text that to my wife. GEET.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
All right.
She knows what I'm talking about.
So anyway, hey, maybe that equals us between Massachusetts and the South here,
That's all right. All you Southern guys talk funny accents, don't you?
Yeah, we do have a lot worse down here than you guys, because we do get snow like once a year.
Oh yeah, like a quarter inch or something.
Man, tell you what, we gotta figure out a way to.
And if it doesn't melt by the afternoon, we're in trouble.
Just
so hey, Jordan, you ready to go to work in a week and a half?
Oh, I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been waiting on this since last year.
Hey, Jordan, we're getting our booth is going to be different this year. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. I'm in on that.
Are you in on that? Why don't you make it real pretty? We're going to have the most professional looking booth ever, man. We've usually just been backed up to the wall there like you guys. But no, man, we're going to be fancy. We're fancy this year. We're going to have walls and everything.
Well, we've changed some things up right there by the stage. Kind of moved some of the stuff around. The stage is going to be a tad bit shorter and smaller than it has been in the past, but it's. We went and walked it when Mark said we went and kind of looked over everything and kind of looked at it, and it looks like it's going to be a good setup now.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, I think you guys may have a booth space. Do you have a booth space on each side of us? Did you work one in?
Y'all are actually going to be up closer toward the stage where the talk-in used to be. We've moved the talk-in from where it was at.
I got you.
So y'all are going to be a little bit closer to the stage right there and give y'all a little bit more room
cool.
Than what y'all had last year. So
I'm liking it, man. Yeah. Now, Walter here, he's not going to get to come this year. He's got to fly the airplanes.
I've actually got to work. I can't believe it.
Man.
Unless something.
Oh no. Hi, Bill too.
Could you?
Hello.
I've actually got to go to work. Can you believe that?
Could you not call in sick? Maybe somebody might see you down there, though, right? Somebody might see you. Man.
They would know the difference.
Well, look, hey, how about that? Hey, how about this? You fly that. What is it? The Airbus, A300. Why don't you fly the Airbus down, land it in Huntsville, run over to the thing for a few hours, then go back, jump the plane, bring it back to Memphis?
They'd never miss it.
No. I think
that would work.
I think you get away with it, man. And hey, you bring all my stuff back.
All the stuff you're going to win, all the prize you're going to win.
That's right.
Bring them home.
That's right, man. I could put a lot of stuff on an A300.
Yeah, you could.
Man, I'm sorry you're not going to make it.
Yeah, Tom wants you to fly back all those door prizes he's going to win.
Yeah, that's it.
So, hey, by the way, would the Huntsville Airport will have to support an A300? Could you? It will?
Yeah, you can get in there.
Got to use the brakes a lot on it. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Well, we know the A300 to get into Huntsville now. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Look at this. Here we go. We'll put that. Let's see if we can get you and me both back in this picture here.
But they don't feel too sorry for me because I'll be in New Orleans.
Oh, that's right.
Having dinner at one of the restaurants down there on the port.
That's right. You'll be in New Orleans. I'm trying to get us back in the picture here. There we go. All right. Well, we got Douglas in here. Douglas, you're awful quiet tonight. See, he's not even talking now.
Douglas, where's your battle helmet?
Douglas won't talk to us. Is my mic working? Test 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
My mic's working.
Yeah, it's working. I can hear it.
Who's the other guy? See, William. We got William.
There.
Hey,
No,
Tom,
back.
how's it going?
Oh, there. Hey, man, look at the guy.
He's got a new background. He's there. He raised the garage.
I didn't recognize him. I haven't seen him in so long. He looks different. You notice that? I mean,
He's not in the garage.
He looks different. First I saw the shirt and I thought that's some kind of little emblem things up there. I thought, well, this guy, he must be in the, the Coast Guard or something. But then I looked and I said, no, that's not him. But then I couldn't recognize him. Man.
This is the outdoor look.
Well, you know that you've racked up 1 million demerits since you were on here last time. We see you in the chat room, but we don't ever see you on here. So I don't know if
I'm a busy man. I can't always be here.
I don't know if you're faking in it or not, man. Oh, boy.
Enjoying the great outdoors.
Wilds of Montana, huh? Oh, nice.
Well, it looks nice there, man. Looks nice. You got a little greenage on the trees back there, and
No snow.
yeah, it doesn't look too hot.
That's better than a lot of places in right now. Green.
Hey, what's that daylight still behind him?
Dried up.
What's that, what?
A lot of places are losing their green.
Yeah. What'd you say, Mike?
Oh, I was wondering all that daylight still behind you. I got pitch dark out here.
Yeah, it picks up there too now.
Let's see what we got here.
In Montana, we, a little further north, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not for you.
Hey, I think we got somebody on the telephone. Anybody on the phone? Hello?
Did somebody say Coast Guard?
Who's on the phone? Who's on the phone? Nobody.
This is D. Cushing.
Don't laugh. I have to check out. This video is switching so fast. I'm about to get seasick. So
yeah.
7:30.
So do we have somebody on the phone or not? D who?
D. Cushing.
D. Cushing. Let's everybody stand by for D. Cushing on the phone. Hey, D. Cushing, how you doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. I don't see me up on the video in the chat. What's going on, man?
You can't get in the video in the chat room? I mean, what's the deal?
No, I'm seeing this. I'm watching you on YouTube under, on the live broadcast on WF5 KUB.
Yeah.
And I see somebody smoking a cigarette, and I see you guys up in the corner, but I don't see me.
Yeah. This is Hangout. This is actually the show was ended, and this is just kind of a informal get together. Anybody that wants to join can join.
I just did.
Yeah, but you're not. Why didn't you join on Hangout?
I did. I'm joining the Hangout.
Yeah. Wait a minute. You're not on the telephone right now.
No, I'm on Skype.
On Skype.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
That picture looks like
you answered the phone.
Well, you're not. We don't have your picture on the show here. It looks like that you came in on the.
On Skype.
You came in on the Skype phone number. It looks like
came in on the wrong side.
I don't know what's going on here. If you click on, if you're in the chat room, if you click on that link, it'll bring you right into the show.
You never accepted me on Skype when I contacted you.
Before long, we'll get that mixed up too with all these other modes we have. We got G-Star, we got Fusion, we got All-Star, we got IRLP, Echo Link.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see if we can't add something extra next week to confuse it a little bit more.
Oh, that'll be fun.
All right.
Southcard is going to use Skype when they do that technician class they're doing.
All right. So let's stand by just a second. Let's talk to the guy that came in on Skype. He came in on our Skype phone number. I don't know how you got the number. I don't know how you. And what's his name? D. Cushing. Hey, D. Cushing, are you a ham radio operator or just tuned
I was
across
in
the
the
show?
Coast Guard and I was a radio man for 28 years.
Radio man, okay, radio man in the Coast Guard. Okay, cool, very good, very good. And how did you find that number right there?
Well, what I did was I searched on Skype w5aub.com.
Okay.
And Tom came up.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I sent you an invitation request, which you never acknowledged.
Okay. Okay. Well, that Skype that you came in on there, we have a registered Skype phone number, and we only use it for audio and for telephones. We bring all of our other remote guests in on a different Skype on video. So that's the reason I was curious on how you joined us, because that's typically just a phone line. Yeah. All right. Well.
The Roundtable.
Did you you've been watching this on YouTube? Did you actually go to w5kub.com and did you see the?
Throw your stuff over the side. You throw it in the garbage. You ought to know that.
I can't understand what the guy's saying.
He's throwing stuff over the side. I guess he's on his deck.
Yeah. There's some buzzing on there. I can't understand what the guy's saying, so we'll go ahead and cut him off here.
We're not able to hear him at this end
no,
either.
I can't hear him either.
We're going to move along.
All right.
It's a little mumbled.
All right, guys. Well, look, it's getting late here, boy. I'm thinking about some popcorn tonight. I skipped supper tonight so I can have popcorn. Well, we're going to have a show next week. I'm not sure who we're going to have, but we will have a show. The next morning, we're hightailing it out of here for Huntsville. I'll list the frequencies. We want to work you guys mobile. We can.
So, Tom, y'all leaving Wednesday morning?
Yeah, we like it so much. Jordan, we're coming down Wednesday. We'll be there Wednesday afternoon, and hey, we'll just sit around a hotel Thursday, and then I'll be one of the first ones to get in on Friday.
All right, works for me. I think we'll open the doors at 8 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think you can open the big doors at 8.
Well, hold on, I'll rephrase that. For move-in, for people that are coming in to set up for the show on Friday.
Yeah, Mark thought your doors wouldn't open until 10 a.m., but, if I can get in earlier, I will. I'll try to be the first in line.
Yeah, we had a question of that when we talked to when we had our last meeting, and I think we're going to go ahead and open it at 8, because we'll be able to get in there Thursday afternoon and make sure everything is set the way we need it to.
Yeah, okay, that sounds cool. All right, well, hey, next week, Christian Kudnick, K0STH from 100 Watts of Wire, he's going to be with us next week for a little while. We're going to learn all about 100 Watts on the Wire. You guys be sure and check out their site. I'm going to get out of here, visit Walter for a minute, and I've got to help Walter next week put an antenna up at his house. But we have to wait till his wife leaves. She's only going to be gone.
We got so many shows. We got 100 Watts and a Wire. We got Newsline. We got ARL Audio News. The doctor's in. We got Tom doing his show here at W5KUB.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
Animation.
There's a lot out there. We just want to share the word. All right, guys.
Yeah,
I'm out of here.
Miss your Huntsville show. I got to be downstate then. That's Friday and Saturday. So. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, what's up with those whales crawling under the Mackinac?
Whales? Where did we get whales from?
You got whales up there?
Well, it was these huge fish there crawling under the Mackinac. I saw it on Facebook this morning.
I don't even know
You
what
saw it on Facebook, under the Mackinac Bridge?
Well, that must be a bridge.
Yeah.
Under Mackinac Bridge, how the heck did the whales get up there?
They must have come through the Sioux Locks.
All right, guys. Good night, everybody. We'll see you later.
Have a good night, Tom.
Hey,
thanks, everybody.
y'all take care now. Bye-bye.
Y'all take care.
Okay.
All right, so All right.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read
Let's fill our body. Let's see. Good night. We'll see you.
There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Let's see. Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't that hot in here, actually.
Well, the air was turned down real low, yeah.